Hey, what's up? Todd Valentine here in Sydney, Australia, and I want to talk to you about being too nice. Now, I am probably compared to you a bit of a dickhead, but compared to the people who I know who are really, really good at game, I'm one of the nicest people who actually get success that you know. And as such, every time I've decided to be less nice, I've decided to be more of a dick, I've decided to kind of value my time and put my foot down more. Every single time I've done that without fail, I've done better and better and better. So some of my sticking points with regards to being nice have been keeping girls around too long when I shouldn't have, being too polite to girls on like first dates that aren't going anywhere and wasting periods of my time, things like that. Just sort of being polite, trying to make sure everybody has good emotions all the time and not recognizing that sometimes it's not that fucking important and sometimes the person in question doesn't deserve it. That sounds really dickhead, I get that. But such is the world we live in. I'm a staunch proponent of doing what is right, not what's easy, doing what is right, not what feels good. I think a lot of times the reason why people are too nice is because they're afraid of the ramifications. And they're not even necessarily afraid of like specific ramifications like I'll go to jail or something like that. They're afraid of what you call social pressure. Meaning they're afraid that there will be some sort of like negative feedback or negative perception, or someone will look at them funny or scoff at them or something like that. Or just put some pressure on them, like ask them, like question them on their actions. So a lot of people succumb to social pressure rather than doing what they believe to be right. I have one friend in particular who I really, really respect, and he has an interesting sort of philosophy on tipping. Basically, he doesn't believe in tipping.
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in tipping?
At least he doesn't believe in tipping blindly. He believes that you should tip if there is a self-interested reason to tip. He's very like sort of economics in sort of like the way he looks at things. So he will tip at places he goes regularly, and he'll actually tip quite a bit there because by doing that, he gets special preferential treatment in those places. However, any place that he's not a regular or doesn't plan on going back to, say for example, he's traveling, there is no tipping happening. And the reason for that is there's no benefit to him for tipping. And that's his philosophy, that's what he believes. And that's what he's gone with. Based on his ideology, it's true. Now, this is not the ideology that, for example, the waitress in the restaurant where he's traveling would ascribe to, but that is what he believes. He's very strong in it. And actually, to be fair, I actually think that the way he tips is very intelligent. However, at certain times, oftentimes even, I tip when I probably shouldn't, according to that strategy, just because it's easier to do, it's less social pressure, etc. Now, one thing is, specifically if I'm on a date or if it'll create some kind of like weird havoc and maybe like it'll create a bad situation there, then it actually makes sense and then it'll be doable. But if you're by yourself and you believe it, why not go with it? Now, it's quite possible that you don't ascribe to that same view of tipping as my friend does. That's fine. You may even think that he is an asshole for having that view. So if that offends you, that's fine, but that's not the point of the video. The point is, he has a particular philosophy, and because he believes that way, he should live his life that way. If you believe that way, you should too. If you believe differently, you should live your life differently. The point is, live your life according to your beliefs, not what's easy, what's right. Similarly, say that you show up to, maybe you've met a girl online, you show up for a date, and she just doesn't look like her pictures. Or I had one the other day, a girl showed up to her date and brought her mother to the date. This is actually pretty funny. She was Asian, she brought a mother who didn't speak English and was trying to interpret for the mother. And I just sat down for a second to like kind of interview them and figure out what the hell happened. I'm like, so I have to say, this is the first time anybody's ever brought a mother on a date with me. Can you explain what you were thinking? Right? And then they explained it. Apparently they'd seen me on the morning show here in Sydney because I did a TV spot. And they were just curious to find out about me. But at that point, about within a minute or so, I was like, okay, cool, well, this is over. I'm leaving, goodbye, right? Rather than tolerating their bullshit. A lot of people would have tolerated the bullshit because it would be like less socially awkward not to. A lot of people also, though, would have gone too far with it. They'd have been like, what are you, fucking stupid, and like chewed the girl out or something like that. That's not, there's no point in that either, right? So there's a way to do this and a way not to do it. And there's no reason to be unnecessarily mean. There's no reason to be trying to hurt someone's feelings. There's no reason to be like a dickhead for the sake of being a dickhead. However, it's very, very important in life to value your time. And the more successful you get and the more people who want your time, the more important it is to value your time. Another situation. I was on boot camp this weekend, and there was a guy who, he's a fan of ours, and I respect that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate every fan I have because I'm lucky to have them. Without you, I would be nowhere. But I was doing a boot camp. I'm with paid clients, and this guy kept coming up to me and trying to introduce me to random people from the community or random guys and interrupting my boot camp. And I was like, okay, cool, thank you, I appreciate that, but I got to get back to the boot camp. For the first couple or 3 times. After that, I was like, nope, seriously, you got to go. And he even was at the point where he's like trying to, no, I just have one question. I'm like, no, seriously, dude, I'm busy, right? And at some point, you do have to put your foot down, and it's very important. Right? It is important to put your foot down. It's important to have standards for how you're going to live your life. So what I encourage you to do is this. Number 1, think about what your standards are for your life. Think about the things that you believe in that you think should be followed, but they're hard to do. Especially things that are hard to do because of social pressure. Because maybe your friends might not approve, or you might get some blowback, or because it's not within the social norm, but you still think it's correct. Think of some of those things, and what I want you to do is take a 1-week mission and do a withstand social pressure mission. For this week, you are going to do what you think is right. Not what you think is easy, not what society would think is right, not if like you took a vote of the people of the room, what they would think is right, what you personally think is right. For this week, you are to act only based on what you think is right only. Now you will have some negative blowback, you will have some consequences. However, I think that you will also have a much better use of your time, and you're gonna have, I think, a much better self-esteem at the end of this week when you truly stand up and do what you believe and just say, fuck it, I'm doing the right thing. So go out there, do the right thing, not the easy thing, take the consequences, and also take the rewards. Talk to you next time. Too far away. I can't eat the camera properly. Ah!